All right, let's talk about something huge today. Something that's equal parts terrifying and, honestly, totally liberating. We're diving into the art of starting over from scratch. And no, I don't mean just getting a new job. I'm talking about a full-on, radical reinvention of who you are.
You know that feeling, right? That deep down sense that you're just stuck, where changing your morning routine or reading another self-help book just isn't going to cut it anymore. It's that feeling that what you really need is a complete reset, a total teardown of the life you've so carefully built.
So here's how we can think about it. Most of the time, we're on what you could call the fertilizer path. We're always trying to add more stuff to our lives, more skills, better habits, bigger goals. But what if that's not the answer? What if the real path to growth isn't about adding, but about subtracting? What if instead of more fertilizer, what you really need is fire?
And that brings us to the core of this whole thing. It sounds pretty intense, I know, but the logic is actually super simple. You just can't build the future you're meant to have if you're still dragging around the entire weight of your past.
Now, let's be really clear here. This is not about just blowing up your life for the sake of it. Think of it like a controlled burn in a forest. It's a deliberate, intentional clearing of all the dead stuff. The comforting lies you tell yourself, the roles you've outgrown, the routines that keep you small. You're clearing the ground so something new, something real, can finally grow.
And this, right here, is the key. The whole point isn't the destruction itself. The destruction is just the price of admission. It's the necessary first step. It's the gateway to real transformation. Okay, so once you actually commit to this, you step into what is, without a doubt, the hardest part of this entire journey. You have to embrace what's called the void. That's that terrifying empty space between the person you used to be and the person you're about to become.
Just let that sink in for a second. Willing to be no one. Our entire sense of self is built on our stories, right? Our jobs, our relationships, our achievements. To be no one means you have to be willing to let all of that go, to just drop the narrative and stand there undefined.
So, what does this actually look like? Well, it means questioning every single thing you thought was true. It means detaching from those old identities you cling to. The achiever, the nice guy, the victim. It means surrendering to the absolute terror of not knowing what's next. And yeah, it means facing some real honest-to-goodness pain. It's not easy, which is exactly why so few people ever truly do it.
But here's the wild part. After the fire, after all that intensity and destruction, something inside you begins to shift. All that noise quiets down, and it gives way to this profound, unexpected sense of peace. You move from the ashes into stillness.
And this is the critical mindset shift you have to make. That void, that emptiness that felt so scary, it's not a loss. It's not an absence of self. It is a prepared space. You haven't lost a thing. You've just finally created an opening for your true destiny to show up.
Suddenly, that frantic, desperate need to always be doing something, to be proving your worth, it just dissolves. And for maybe the first time in your life, you learn how to just be. That emptiness stops being this terrifying threat and actually becomes a sanctuary.
So you've done the incredibly hard work. You've walked through the fire, you've found peace in the stillness. So now what? Well, now that the space is clear, something can finally come through.
This is the moment the whole entire journey has been leading up to. Right into that quiet, sacred space that you fought so damn hard to create, something is about to arrive. This is the reward for all that courage.
And boom, there it is, the idea. This isn't just a clever thought you had in the shower. This is described as the divine compensation for everything you were brave enough to surrender. It's the payoff.
And you'll know it when it hits you. It's not some career plan you mapped out on a spreadsheet. It feels like lightning. It's this soul-deep recognition of what you're actually here to do. It probably won't be logical, but it will feel completely aligned. And trust me, it doesn't ask for your permission, it demands action. But it only, and I mean only, shows up when you've truly cleared the space for it.
So once the idea lands, everything starts to change. You shift out of that deconstruction phase and into the active, exciting phase of actually building a new reality from the ground up.
And just look at the difference here. Before, you were driven by old habits and, let's be honest, fear. Now you're driven by pure inspiration. Your compass used to be what other people thought. Now it's your own deep inner conviction. Life stops feeling like this constant striving and pushing, and it starts to feel like a beautiful unfolding.
And when you get right down to it,
This is the real prize. It's not about getting a better job or a bigger house. All those external trophies you burn down, they get replaced by something so much more valuable. The incredible, breathtaking freedom of just living as your true self, without any masks, without any apologies.
But here's the thing to remember. This isn't a one-and-done deal. You don't just cross some magical finish line and you're good for life. This whole process is actually a cycle, a repeatable practice that you can use for the rest of your life.
And it becomes this powerful loop you can always come back to. First, you burn what's old. Then, you bask in that sacred stillness that follows. Out of that, you give birth to a new, true idea. You build an authentic life around it. And then, when the time comes again, you have the courage to begin the whole cycle over, knowing it's just making you more and more you.
Ultimately, this whole journey isn't about changing who you are. It's about shedding the life that was never really yours to begin with, so that you can finally, fully become the person you were always meant to be. And that person, that real, fiery, wide-awake soul, is absolutely unstoppable.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. As you look at your own life right now, your job, your beliefs, your routines, what part of it is no longer true? What part of it is just waiting for the fire?